My name's Brandon Johnson. I'm here on behalf of myself and my son and daughter. I am in support of this bill. So thank you for Chairman Niave for hearing this bill and the members of the committee engaging in dialogue on the bill earlier. I'm going to be brief, and so I'll start with saying I agree that you can't force people to stay married. However, marriage is a contract that is codified in case law, and it's also in Article 1, Section 16 of the Texas Constitution. It says the state shall not impair the obligation of contracts. And contracts are the foundation of people being able to live together, right? So being that, the state is supposed to uphold and protect contracts between people to settle conflicts, is to revert back to the contract itself. In no other area of law can one party break a contract and subsequently be rewarded with what I term cash prizes, and in this instance, custody. Now, no-fault divorce, it was said earlier, decreases conflict. This is simply not true. And it was a family law attorney who said this, and I'll agree with her on a couple points. Fewer people are getting married today. The courts are clogged with the family law docket being 40% or more of the caseload. And then there's an increase in pro se litigants. The reason for this is family law is lucrative. You know, many people choose not to marry in the first place, and then people are representing themselves because, frankly, the outcome is predetermined. And unfortunately, and I don't mean this derogatory, but I'm saying it point blank, that the courts are rigged. We know that. And I want to touch on another point as far as what was mentioned by Representative Wu. He mentioned domestic violence. Most folks don't realize that I'm not diminishing that, but the fact is that the federal government pays the states $2 billion a year in grants to spread a narrative of domestic violence. This narrative ends up being used as false allegations to get a favorable outcome in divorce cases. Now, that is not my quote. That is a quote from Leslie Levy, who taught a continuing education class for Williamson County. She used to work for the district attorney or something down there. So what ends up happening, even though we call it no-fault divorce, temporary restraining orders or a protective order is at the very least, and this is coming straight from Leslie Levy, it's implied. So even though we're saying it's a no-fault divorce, we're now putting these protective orders to imply that being the case. That now we're making it a fault even though it's no fault. And then Representative Cook mentioned parents are unable to co-parent when there's mudslinging in the divorce proceedings. Well, it starts with these protective orders. Now you're pitting one parent against the other. You know, we need to somehow take families out of the adversarial court system, because by its very nature, court is adversarial. I don't know how we do that, but I am in support of this bill because even though no-fault divorce is a law that sounds good on its face, it has been converted from a law that protects the people to plundering them. And that comes from Frederick Bastiat, the French philosopher who wrote the law. So I encourage each of you to, pass this bill and have it heard before the House floor. Thank you.
Thank you. Members, are there any questions for this witness? Okay, thank you for your testimony.